Meanwhile, current Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey still refusing to concede despite the race already being called for Dave McCormick. And now some Democratic officials are openly admitting that they are breaking state law by counting illegal ballots.
I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Oh, we're paying attention. And so is Fox News legal editor Kerri Urbahn. Kerri, so they're breaking the rules, and everybody knows they're breaking the rules. And it's like, so what? We can do what we want, right?
And saying they're breaking the rules. This is so brazen, Steve. It's unbelievable. And my question in all of this over the last few days has been, where is Governor Josh Shapiro in this? Where is the Secretary of State of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? Why are they not directing their officials to follow the law? The Pennsylvania Supreme Court literally just addressed this issue 2 weeks ago. Right. And again, there are 3 simple rules, or you would think they're simple, when it comes to what that govern mail-in ballots. They have to be placed in a specific kind of envelope, they have to be signed, and they have to be dated, handwritten. Right. And so what's happening in these counties is some counties are following those rules and some aren't. The clip you just played showed a county official saying, you know, court precedent doesn't matter. And it's quite shocking to me. And I also think politically it's very foolish for Josh Shapiro, for somebody who has presidential aspirations in 2028, and based on everything we know, it doesn't sound like even the recount's going to change things. Why would he not, you know, put out even a statement and saying, hey, I meant what I said a couple of weeks ago when I said Pennsylvania is committed to a fair and free election, but yet we haven't heard anything from him on that. Right.
You know, and what is so maddening about this is, you know, when you do your mail-in ballot, it's got all the rules on the outside of the ballot, you know, on the envelope. Did you sign it? Did you date it? Did you do this? Did you put it in the mailbox? So essentially, there were a bunch of, and I don't even know how many, but I know right now McCormick is ahead by 31,000, I think. There were a number of ballots where somebody did something wrong.
Correct.
And state law says you get a certain period of time when you can fix that. But these haven't been fixed. They're just counting them anyway.
They're still counting them. And what the Secretary of State there would say was what happens with those, they're put aside, and then the board votes on whether to count them or not. And I heard this, he just said this in an interview yesterday, in a local Pennsylvania interview. And I thought to myself, what do you mean the board votes? What about the Pennsylvania Supreme Court? What about the Pennsylvania legislature that has passed the law? And what's so ironic, Steve, and this is, I think, very ironic, this individual who's the Secretary of State, his name is Al Schmidt, he was so frustrated by Donald Trump in 2020 when Donald Trump was claiming that there was fraud happening in Philadelphia because at the time Schmidt was a commissioner on the election board there. In fact, he was so frustrated with President Trump for his claims of possible fraud in Pennsylvania, he testified before the January 6th committee. And now he's saying, oh, this is just part of the process, nothing to see here, despite the fact these officials are saying we're defying the law.
Yeah, it is something. That's why we're bringing it up. And here's the thing. This is not even an official recount. This is just still, you know, mopping up after Election Day.
They're still counting.
I know. They could actually have now a $1 million recount, and that would be in addition to this, even though it looks like McCormick is still ahead by 31,000.
Oh, I think the recount's happening no matter what, and that's what's crazy about this. So they're still counting the votes from Election Day. And again, I don't understand what the issue is with Pennsylvania, Steve. I keep saying this on air. You know, you have Virginia, you have Florida, you have states who do it, and they do it well, and they do it smoothly. Why are they still counting votes at all?
Good question. All right. Gives us something to talk about. Kerri, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.